And we are live. State of Real Estate Podcast. I'm your host, Adam Lowry, for today. And we are sitting with the sponsor of this show, actually. Only right that we sit with the sponsor first, broadcasting this show live. The owner of Venture Title, everybody, Mike Dunlap. Welcome to the show, buddy.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, I'm glad you could come here. For me, if I'm trying to talk to people about title or anything, right? I try to play novice, right? I don't know anything, right? Whatever title means, I don't know. Picture me as just a regular home buyer, right? I'm just a regular old home buyer. And what would I need to know about title? Like why is that important for me, right? Imagine I'm first time home buyer, right? And mind you, you are the king of information, right? You're the guy that helps a lot of people out there. But, if I'm a first time home buyer, right, what do I need to know about title or something like that?
Title insurance is important to know how, when you purchase a home, how your home is protected as far as the search, exam, and all the encumbrances, and also the ability to give marketable title. I know these are all strange words, but that's what it does. And it gives you the opportunity as a buyer to have insurance to protect from all of those items.
Now that is one of the best. Now I understood that, right? I'm like, okay, I get title now, right? Do me a favor, slide this way when you're talking that way because your pretty face is not on camera. Now you are. Before we get further into that, right? Because I wanted people to kind of know what title means before we get going. But let's talk about you in the business. How did you get into the title business? What's your history like? How did you wind up here in Venture Title?
My father started in this industry in the early 70s. How I got into it was he opened a door for me when I got out of the Marine Corps. That opportunity was to do some development work in title plants. What title plants are and how they came up to pass is in the early 70s, late 80s, or early 70s, excuse me, to early 80s. We looked up title in their back as well. We looked up title in plat books, microfiche, microfilm, and it was an all manual process.
Oh, man.
So what we did is we created a product that would begin to automate that process. We took a product called Addis. It was a automated title tracking system. It allowed us to take the microfiche, the microfilm, the plat books, and put them into a visual system. And the ability to be able to search title in a DOS format back then, and
wow.
Exactly,
DOS,
and then into Windows later. I got into that part of the business until the mid 90s, and we began to develop also the real estate closing software, automating the process from the typical typewriter or word processor back in the day. And then we started to put what we call back in the day a HUD on screen. And they, instead of putting it on a typewriter, they actually had it on the screen and could make changes to it. At the late 90s, it began to be a very more automated process. And then we moved into the early 2000s of Windows, being able to convert all that. I got tired of traveling. Dad and I sold our companies and decided that I would open a real estate title company, be able to stay home, help raise the kids, be a little more, less travel kind of guy.
Yeah.
I had Southeast was a lot of travel. And once we started the title business, my background in automation kind of changed the way I felt title should be done in our state. And in many states, I've consulted throughout the Southeast on how this process is done.
So when you say automation, right, what was missing at the time in title, right? I mean, obviously you're running film, it's moving automated, but when you opened your first title company in the early 90s there, what was making it different? What was your goal? I can see you already kind of going, all right, when we open this, we're going to make sure what does that fill in the blank?
The automation process was more of a communication process. When you are doing a real estate closing, there's a lot of people involved. You have the realtor, you have the lender, you have the surveyor, you have the pest inspector, You have so many more people that are all involved, buyer, seller, aunts, uncles, whoever is in the process. I mean, it could be a lot of people.
Yeah.
Well, that lack of communication requires emails, the ability to be able to take all those papers, all that process, what did and did not get done, and automate it. For example, once the payoff was gotten back on our behalf, we would order that to make sure that the seller, when they are selling,